You can think about that in that way. But I think that to easily conclude on the manner and fashion that because he was an old man, he had to hold the walking stick. Because before you conclude on that, I want you to think on what he was doing whilst he leaned on that walking stick. The Bible says he was worshipping. He worshipped whilst he leaned on the staff. So he was not just holding something that will help him to walk. He was holding something that was very significant in his life. He was worshipping, leaning on top of his staff. In the day of harvest, if we walk into the harvest and Balaam will not succeed, we must come to a point where we are worshippers. Friend, worship goes beyond singing. Singing is just one aspect of worship. That's why apostles, sometimes worship leaders or song leaders will come and stand and they will say, now let us worship the Lord. No, we've been worshiping. Worship is higher than singing. Somebody say worship is higher than singing. Worship is your life. Worship is life. Worship is everyday thing. Worship is a surrendering. Worship is a giving to. When we talk about worship, we are simply saying that you have surrendered, you have offered your life to God, you have given your life to God. The very day you gave your life to God, you began this life of worship. And because it has become easy for you, or because you have been able to give your life to God, it is so easy to either sing or dance or praise or shout. If your very life is not given in worship, it's not easy singing. Look at the people when they will come to church and church is excited and church is going on. We are singing and people are dancing and they are not involved. They are not a part. And in their heads and in their minds, they are looking at the people dancing and they say, look at them. They don't know what is going on in life. What it simply means is that such a life has not come to a place of trusting God to be able to let his life go and say, God, it doesn't matter what happens to my life. I trust you enough that you'll be able to take care of me. If somebody cannot come to that place of saying, God, I trust you enough that it doesn't matter what is going on. I know that 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 my Redeemer liveth. If it doesn't happen today, my Redeemer still lives. If it doesn't happen next week, my Redeemer still lives. If it doesn't happen this year, my Redeemer still lives. So it is not the happening that changes my perception about God. It is my Redeemer still living that changes my perception about life. It is who is in charge of your life that makes the difference. It is not the things that are going on about your life and in your life. So if something is wrong today, it is not about what is wrong. It's about the Redeemer that still lives. It is about the God that changes not. If you can come to the place of trusting in him that he still lives, nothing changes him. He's still in charge of your life. Whatever he has to do, he will do it before the age of the earth, or the foundation of the earth, or the days end on earth. If you can't come to that place, you can't sing, you can't praise, you can't give. So I am very careful about the people who rejoice when something good has happened to them, but they can't rejoice. When the Bible says rejoice, and again I say rejoice. When the Bible says in all things, so I cannot let my life be connected to a life who can only know that God is alive only when something good has happened. I cannot be around such a life. I cannot be such a daft person to let my life flow in such person's life. See, because if something goes wrong, chances are that you can drop me. Young lady, that's why before you marry, watch out for the guy. Watch out for that guy. His understanding of who God is and his relationship with God and how consistent he is with God. If that person can change today and tomorrow, chances are that when you marry and things begin to happen, he can drop you. I am very careful about people who cannot rejoice every day, but they only rejoice in a moment. So worship is a life offered to God. And when that life is offered to God, then all other things can be offered to God. People find it difficult in honoring God with their tithes because their life is not surrendered and given to God. People find it difficult walking in the counsel of God. For instance, walking in love and forgiveness because their entire life has not been surrendered to God. You go to church, but you are not surrounded. You go to church, but you are not surrounded. My friend, this thing we are talking about is not about being a churchgoer. What we are talking about is a relationship. Having a relationship with a person. If you have a relationship with a person, there's such a thing called iron sharpens iron. So if you have a relationship with God, his very life and his very nature is impacted to you. I don't know if I'm going somewhere tonight. So don't come to a place in your life where you have just reduced worship to singing. It's your life totally given to God. If you didn't get anything I preached today, get this point. It will take you far. Because there are times I will wake up and I don't feel like singing. But in my heart of hearts, I know that God, I belong to you. And my life is yours. I have given you all. So it is not the singing that shows that I have given you everything. But within me, I say, God, I am yours. I am yours. I'm totally surrendered to you. There are times, Apostle, I'm up and I don't feel like praying. I don't feel like does that mean I'm not worshiping God? No. In my heart of heart, Lord, I am yours. I am totally surrendered to you. See, when your life is given to Him, then the days you don't have the strength to do the things you are supposed to do, He still holds you in the power of His hands. Bible says He is able to keep that which is committed and trusted. So you must come to a place of committing and trusting your life to God. The other thing about worship is that when you learn to worship, you have audience with God. If you have audience with God, you have audience with man.